My name is Dale Dawson. I've been going to Mission Trails Church since a year ago Easter. I was the oldest boy of 4 boys. We were regular churchgoers. I was very active in the youth group, and I loved the idea of God. I knew that there was God. I've never, ever doubted that God existed. When they talked about Jesus, it was that we should try to be like Jesus. And I just couldn't do that. I knew I was a bad boy. I knew that I had bad thoughts and that I did bad things. And when they would tell me to be like Jesus, I basically eventually gave up on that idea. And that meant probably that I wasn't a good Christian, if I was a Christian at all. And so I went to college kind of with that mindset, and but was still in a religious way. And so I was the chaplain of the university, I was the chaplain of the fraternity I was in. I just pick and chose out of the Bible things. I stuck to the Psalms, a lot of the Psalms. When Christmas came, I read the Christmas story and stuff like that. But I never read about receiving Christ as your personal Savior. That was never something that made any sense to me. I didn't understand that. And I really did not understand the first 18 verses of the book of John. I just did not, it was like a foreign language to me. So graduated from college, went to work as a social worker, went to Cal Berkeley, spent a semester there, and then dropped out and went to Mexico. I just was looking, I was questing, I was searching. And it was about then that my first marriage was breaking up. And my wife fell in love with my best friend. And that was rough. And it took a long time for me to get to a point where I could trust men again, and probably women need too. I was kind of a loner for a while. And I ended up in San Diego, which is where I was born. So I got a job here, and someone had lunch with me in the office one rainy day and told me about a friend that had never left her, and that she'd been terribly disappointed by men and by friends in general, but this friend stuck through. And I bit, and she said, "It's Jesus Christ." And I thought, oh my gosh, I've heard about this, but what are you talking about? And so she told me her story, and I said, "Where do you go to church?" And she told me, and so that next Sunday I went. I had a great big hippie beard, my hair looked out, it was all full, and I had John Lennon glasses on, and I walked up to this very straight and narrow church and walked in and sat down, and there was something the pastor said that made sense to me, so I put my name in the plate. The Wednesday of that week, 2 guys showed up, 2 young men about my age, and they had the 4 spiritual laws, and they shared that with me alone in my room, and I received Jesus Christ. I got down on my knees and prayed for him to come into my life. And when the guys left, I went and pulled my belongings out. They were in a little tiny cardboard box by then. My life was in a kind of a shambles at that point. And one of the few things that I still owned was an old Bible. And I opened it immediately to the book of John. And I understood every word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld His glory. And I knew something had happened to me. Something that I didn't know what it was, but something very different and special. And shortly after that, I met Kendra, who had just received Christ also. And she and I started going to a Bible study. And those first few years as a Christian were just great. But then I fell away, and I started doing other things. I was carrying on the appearance of Christianity without actually doing it, for whatever reason. Several years went by. We had children, and I worked, but I just was, the emptiness was coming back. Not focused in my life, I guess. My son started going to a Christian high school. And so we got involved in the ministry of the Christian high school. Gosh, I just ran right back to the Savior at that point and really was grateful, so grateful. So we went through several churches, a number of churches. But finally, we got a postcard in the mail that invited us to come to Mission Trails Church. And we came and loved it. And then the fellowship surrounded us, and we've made friends. And we're in Anthony and Lisa's small group, and they welcomed us. And the group was really young people. And so we were a little self-conscious because we're not. But they told us it was a good mix, and it has been. It's been great.